Breath support in singing. It's not just the diaphragm, it's really a torso event. You can breathe from a lot of places in your torso. At the end of the day, it's air in and air out. Okay? In a perfect world, when we're relaxed and we're open, the atmosphere puts breath in our body. So the pressure in the atmosphere puts the breath in your body. Okay? If you're not, and you have to draw it in, you're going to do something more like that, like what we call a friction breath. And we all do some of that, no matter what. That exists. But again, the pressure in the atmosphere puts the air in your body if you're open. Well, how do you get open, and what does that mean? So in singing, posture is a big deal. And obviously in contemporary singing, we'd like to be very loose, but that doesn't mean we don't want to understand about what the alignment works, how the alignment works in our body, and how a great posture could work for us. So here are some key things. Understand tractioning your spine as though someone's gently lifting you up from the back of your head, just gently kind of lifting you. If you do that by the back of your head, you're going to be pretty straight in the spine and in the torso. If you did it from the front, you'd arch and you'd start pulling on everything. So again, someone's gently lifting you up a little bit from the back of the head. Start with that. So when you're doing all your super light singing, just start with thinking that way, thinking very up from the back of your head. That's a good place to start. At the next place, and this does not come easy to many, takes some work, is really understanding how to open right in here. There's something called an open ribcage technique, and that is exactly what it says it is, and that's understanding how to open up right here. Now the key is to find these muscles in your ribs, called the intercostal muscles, to do that opening for you. And that takes a little practice. So what we're not going for here is something called a costal breath. And a costal breath is this. When I breathe in and exhale, I get a collapse. What we're actually trying to do is stay pretty open. Not in a rigid way. It's very movable. Something I end up calling playing the body. Because if I'm just singing pretty casually, I don't need a lot. I just need to be in a nice lifted posture and pretty open. But I don't need to be really pulling on anything. But as things get more difficult, having the sense of pulling on these ribs so that the diaphragm is freer is what that really does. Because we don't push from the diaphragm. The diaphragm works from your nervous system. The diaphragm is an involuntary membrane. It's not something you push and pull on, but it moves and you feel it. And you feel tons of activity in your body as you keep setting your body up right to feel it. And it's not just the diaphragm. You can feel a lot of muscles in your abs and the deeper abs. You have 4 layers of abdominal muscles. The deeper group that go all the way from your sternum down to your pelvis, those are the nice ones to feel because they are also involuntary. They're run by your nervous system. So the more you work your alignment, that's really one of your biggest things in singing, is to constantly kind of work your body. Work your hips under you a little bit. Lift up from the back of the head. Open the ribs. It seems like walking and chewing gum at the same time, or patting your head and rubbing your belly, because it kind of is. But you break these down and you get comfortable with it, and it becomes very natural, and you find yourself doing it without thinking about it as you go to reach a high note. So posture is really one of your biggest keys. And then the next is understanding that, again, like you hear me say a lot, this is a pressure instrument. You have to balance and coordinate that pressure all the time. So having different exercises that will teach you that, to feel yourself coordinating pressure and breath, are kind of indispensable to keep developing the breath support. A couple of the best ones, if they're taught right and learned right and done right, that are very popular right now are the tongue roll and lip roll exercises, because they're definitely just that. They're not so much tongue or lip exercises, although that could be an added benefit if that works for you. They're very much pressure exercises. They're creating a pressure between either the tongue or the lips back down to the support system. And in that world, it's called thoracic pressure, that ultimately we think of as from here to here, this with the larynx, which is a little valve, a little pressure chamber. But we can transfer some of that up to here and have a very low impact warm-up, which is great, and a way to keep developing our sense of feeling. So doing these very in extended ways once you're good at them. And getting good at them would include having them just be very controlled, not super airy, this sense of pulling back, like you'll see me talk about in other things where we understand with direction and resonance, that instead of it being forward, I'm actually pulling back to get this very controlled. And then once I'm good at that, meaning I can do that in a very controlled way without a lot of air, I'm extending those. So maybe I do 3, 4, 5 of those. Etc. Now we do have, it's not uncommon to have a little bit of this on the breath, but I'm minimalizing that a lot, because when I'm done with that exercise, if you see, I open up and relax, and mostly the air just falls into my body. I don't have to do that. That's something we do that gets in the way, and we all do a little bit of it, but remembering that you can have what I call a fast, silent breath by simply no air, full, because I just open, let the air come into my body. So expanding those, expanding your sustained tones, doing very long, several second long sustained tones, and feeling what happens in your body. When your body wants to kind of close in on you, then you have to start learning to go the other way. So if you're doing this long sustained tone, and the body wants to kind of do this, you have to learn, can I just keep lifting up and go open? Literally pulling myself open as I'm singing, which is the opposite of what your body naturally thinks, because as air's leaving your body thinks it wants to go like this. Again, that's called a costal breath. So you're reteaching yourself some things in true breath support, but you'll be glad you did, because you'll be very flexible in your singing, and your voice will be so much safer, and longevity is going to be great, and you'll have a lot of fun, and you'll be able to create a lot of energy, which is really what we're doing in singing, is translating energy. So have fun with that.